everybody, it's Chris, and we're here to talk about AIFD. We're here to talk about our workshop coming up. That's going to be on what, July the 13th and 14th, and we're going to be in Palm Springs. And we have a great sponsor. Winward Silks is going to sponsor all of our silks that we're going to use, and we're actually going to be doing a Marilyn Monroe statue out in 150-degree heat. But you can come be part of that workshop. But the reason why we're here is because Winward's our sponsor. And I wanted y'all to know all about Winward Silks. But I also wanted you to meet one of my most important mentors in my life, Mr. Jim Marvin, who has been a mentor to all of us. You're not that old.
Thank you.
You're not that old, but anyway.
You're shedding on something because I've been in this building over 50 years.
Oh my gosh! Well,
so I have all the wonderful customers, and the thing of it is we can use this as a format to create.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the market always sets us straight because we really have ideas that we think is going to be great, and sometimes maybe we.
Well, isn't that funny? The thing we love the most sometimes is the biggest flop. But anyway.
But heaven knows I try anything.
There you go.
Herb Mitchell at one time said Jim Marvin will do anything once.
Yeah, there you go. Well, talented beyond, he's really set the pace for all of us, and so I wanted you to be a part of this and walk us through and tell us about Winward because Mr. Garrison's in the back. He don't want to be on the camera, but he said you're the face of the company, so we're going to let you drive this bus.
Well, it's indeed a pleasure. Of course, we love AIFD. Of course, I've been a member since 1977.
Weren't you one of the founding members?
Well, somewhat. We talked about it with Shackelford.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't really become a member till 77. But
well,
it's been a joy.
What a slacker. Anyway, you missed it. Anyway.
But I think we can have fun with this because we have so much color and so many textures. And Winward is known for really developing botanically correct. Sometimes.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I don't.
And always been on the cutting edge.
I think it's fun. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, come on through.
I think you got to see all this because this is some of the new developments right here.
Right.
This, I always say that if you kind of like.
Well, we all love a good frog, so there you go.
Put them in our hand, you see how pretty they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how well they're soft.
Yeah.
And the way they're
beautiful
hand painted on the back. So we always say if you put it in your hand, you might sell it.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, I think it's a very beautiful collection. It has kind of things that can transition all year long, and when they put it when it goes into the room,
sure,
it just creates magic.
And you've always said put a bird and a bug on it, and you'll sell it for sure. There
you got that right. I wouldn't be in business without it. No, I wouldn't be in business without the birds and the berries. But anyway,
so we're seeing lots of neutrals.
You
looks
can
like
see all
still.
the neutrals, and you see the softness of all this. And I particularly like these roses. So we did all these.
Beautiful.
And I kind of like this. I was fortunate enough to work in the White House and do the Queen Elizabeth's visit. When she came the last time, and they used these flashy colors, and it's so pretty. And
all that in the fresh product too is so much more available now in the industry. Like all these cabbage roses, this is so beautiful. Oh my gosh,
this is very
so real. I'd almost say if you ever run into a problem where you couldn't get something in that week, just whomp one of them in there and they'll never know the difference, right?
Yeah, and and to go into the cafe au lait is very pretty, but it has a little more subtle look.
Yeah.
In the more warmer tones,
sure.
I think it's very pretty, but you have the choice of blending them together or
absolutely.
We always say that we can sell earth tones as far west, but when you get up east, you do the other colors, fresh colors. So anyway,
we're seeing a lot of this still being prevalent and fresh. Look, the toffee rose,
and they put it with things that zip it with the brighter colors, and it looks just great.
That barista color has been really huge, which is almost in that tone right there. So all these colors are botanically correct. We call them faux botanical, and so but they transition so well even into fresh if you're having an issue with it. But anyway.
No one could say that better. You're getting good at this. You could work.
I've had a great teacher.
Well, that's wonderful, and see all of the wonderful stems. These have some color at the tips, but they still remain. The basis remains subtle, and then you put the color over it. So that's one of the things that
And so right now we're seeing a lot of zinnias, of course, popping up. You know, for seasonal part, that's more of a seasonal flower. Huge right now, zinnias and the dahlia, or dahlia, we call them dahlias in Little Rock, but dahlias. But anyway, are still really big as far as a romantic upscale flower.
Ranunculus and anemones.
Right.
And the large cabbage roses. Oh, well, great.
This would be closer to Clooney anemone that we're seeing so popular. Clooney, whatever it is. Yeah.
And the creamy looking peony.
They're beautiful.
Pretty.
Yeah. Looks just like the real deal.
So there's two of other collections, and there's many other collections.
Yeah.
But you know, if we can kind of walk through, you can kind of see what we're doing. You know, the natural collection is, of course, very specifically
correct.
You know, botanically correct.
Yep. Right.
You know, I think these are always good. You know, look at the zinnias.
And the foliage is correct too, as far as the color. Yeah, we love a good Helleborus. There we go. Like the red one.
And it's just roses galore.
Absolutely. Well, y'all have always been the leader in roses for sure.
Okay.
And then we come on back and just take a quick pick back here.
And
of course, timeless beauty would be your blue and white.
You can see how they've used them. And of course, for spring next year, they use the blossoms.
Yeah, we love a good cherry blossom. So anyway.
This is quite nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Elegant simplicity.
And I love if you could get a scope of the ferns, of the fern plants, the real brighter color. It's a trend toward lighter colors.
Right. You're seeing a lot of lighter colors. But look how pretty he looks working behind that urn right there. Looked like we planned to that, didn't we? Yeah, there we go. So anyway, Shop Winward. They're a great sponsor for AIFD. Come be a part of our workshop coming up. On the first day, we're going to work on some structures and talk about flowers. And we're also going to talk about social media a little bit. I think that's why they asked us. I'm not really sure why they asked us. But anyway, so we're going to do that. And then the day I believe on Monday morning at 7 in the morning, we're going to go install it underneath Marilyn Monroe. And hopefully we don't.
Well, Marilyn's going to be beautiful. She's
well,
going to
she
look
is.
good with all those flowers.
We're going to fix her.
I want to see what you did with it. I'd always love to be there, but you know, it always conflicts. I always have to be in Atlanta too.
Yeah, market.
I don't get to come like I would like to. But anyway,
we're going to send you the video. We're going to take care of you. All right, y'all. So come see us at AIFD, and we'll see you in Palm Springs. Bye, y'all.